This is Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox.
We continue on Financial Straight Talk alongside Jim Fox of Wadadley Financial Group. Kevin McAlpin here with you and online anytime at getfst.com. And of course, Jim, we also talked about it right off the top of the show. Here we are. Season of giving is upon us. The holiday shopping season is also here. I can tell because every other commercial, we've gone from election commercials, every other commercial, to the sales and the Black Friday specials that are coming up. We shifted gears in a hurry, didn't we?
Yeah, and you know, again, think about this. We've been seeing Christmas stuff since what, October?
Yeah.
In Lowe's and Home Depot. Crazy, right? September. Yeah, exactly. September. I mean, and my tree has yet to make it up, by the way.
Okay.
So the plan was to get it up after Thanksgiving, and we haven't got that far yet.
Are you a real tree guy or are you a box
garage.
tree?
Oh, I'm 100% box tree.
Yeah, me too.
Everything comes out of the attic. And you know, I used to love the idea of having a real tree at my mom's house when I was a kid until we did it one year and we had to deal with those little pine needles everywhere. That pretty much cured me. I'll never have a real tree again as long as I live. Unless I'm in your house, and then, yeah, let's rock on. Let's do it. As long as you got to deal with it afterwards, not me.
No, I got the tree in the box, and what we do is we cheat. We go to the store and we get the little things you can clip on there that make it smell like a real tree. Now, anybody that walks in our house will go, that there's no way that thing is real. It's like the Charlie Brown. It's kind of sad looking, actually, but it's the only, and
right.
it's easy, right? There's no mess. There's no cleanup. That's what I like about it.
That's it. Love it. Love it.
Well, we mentioned that the holidays are here. They're upon us. And if you would like to get involved, Jim and his team are obviously very involved in the community. And a big deal for you, Jim, is Toys for Tots. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and we also mentioned it off the top. If folks want to get involved, pick up the phone, 321-414-7526. And you're still accepting donations for what, about another 3.5 weeks or so in your offices?
Yeah. So let's call it December 15th to be on the safe side because they're picking up on the 16th. So yeah. And you know, if you want to donate to Toys for Tots, and again, I want to remind you guys, everything that you donate, all those toys, go to kids here in Brevard County on the Space Coast. So it's not like they're shipping it off. It's all right here. You know, it doesn't matter. I'm looking out of the radio studio right now, and I see we have a skateboard, we have some basketballs. I mean, whatever it is, Five Below is a great place to go and get this kind of stuff. Just, you know, drop it off. We would love to just make some kids Christmas even that much more special. So definitely give us a call and drop that stuff off.
Got a couple of more weeks, and of course, help us fill up that office. Make sure let's get a couple of trucks to drop things off to Toys for Tots.
Sounds great to me.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's such a great time of year and always feels good to get a chance to give back to the community. All right, well, listen, I want to shift gears with you here, Jim, because a couple of weeks ago, we played some Sebastian Maniscalco audio comedy.
I remember.
Yeah, it was a fun soundbite. Well, I wanted to play another piece of comedy sound for you. George Carlin, one of the all-time greats. I mean, look, a lot of his stuff, let's be honest, we can't play on terrestrial radio. But I got good news for you. I found a piece of sound we can play on terrestrial radio.
Amazing.
And it is hard to believe he's been gone for 16 years already, but his comedy certainly remains timeless. And many years ago, well, he shared his thoughts on aging.
As soon as I was in my 40s, I'd look in the mirror and I'd say, well, I guess I'm getting older. Older sounds a little better than old, doesn't it? Sounds like it might even last a little longer. And it's okay, because thanks to our fear of death in this country, I won't have to die. I'll pass away. Or I'll expire like a magazine subscription.
I mean, one of the all-time greats, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Well, and listen, Jim, we know people are living longer and certainly face that risk, that concern of potentially outliving their retirement savings. So, Jim Fox with Wadadley Financial Group, how can you help your clients and our listeners out there really plan for that extended retirement?
Well, it's funny because on what we call our proposed outline is kind of like our initial breakdown of what a plan would look like, right? It's step one, right? On the summary page, number 4 is long-term care. And it's super important that we discuss this with everybody. Some people, Kevin, have actually experienced it firsthand, what it's like taking care of a loved one. And it is devastating. While other people have never, thank God, ever dealt with it. But it's important that people understand that when you do get sick, it's not just money, right? It is. Money's the big part of it. but it is an emotional toll on family members, right? And so you have to really take that as a very serious thing. That's why it's number 4. I mean, think of all the things you're planning in retirement. Long-term care is number 4. That's pretty high up on the list. And the problem is the only time you can really get good, affordable long-term care insurance is when you're your age. Yeah. Kevin. Or even my age, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm starting to get a little long in the tooth, so it might be a little bit more expensive for even me. But right now, the last thing we want to do is spend money on some insurance for when we're in our 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s, right?
Right.
So we don't want to do it. And then we wake up one day and we're like, how did I become 68 years old? And how do I have all these millions of dollars? And how do I protect it? Oh, I'm going to buy this stuff called long-term care insurance. And then you never had a heart problem before, but you go and price it out. And then all of a sudden, now you have heart issues because you're like, how did it cost $8 trillion to buy an insurance policy, right? Right. So there's the challenge or maybe you don't even qualify for it. There's another issue. So one of the things we sit down and we talk to people about is that mind shift when it comes to long-term care. Yes, if we can find an affordable product and it makes sense and all the stars align and everything's great and the unicorns are hopping and we have rainbows and glitter falling from we'll get long-term care. But the reality is that's not how it works when you get older. All right. Things work against you. So you have to find alternative approaches to long-term care, which is something that gets rather confusing. So we sit down and we really look at all the different options that are out there, because the last thing you want to do is be a burden on your children as you get older in life. That's the last place you want to be. And some people just don't have anybody to turn to as well. So it's really important. Number 4 on our list of things we discuss is how do we set up those long-term care alternatives. We also call them asset long-term care planning, right? Where you use your assets to you earmark some money for those kind of things. But it's a really serious topic. It's very difficult to deal with. It's something that we kind of all put our head in the sand and try and pretend like we're never going to deal with it. But the reality is I see it day in and day out. And I dare to say it's probably the most under-focused on aspect of retirement planning that exists out there. I absolutely believe it's right there. And because it's just something that is kind of pushed away from you. I can't afford it, so let's not talk about it. So yeah, if you have any questions about alternatives to long-term care, if you want to look at long-term care, we don't sell long-term care insurance, by the way, in this office. Very important you guys understand that. But we look at alternatives and we really, really, really try and help you make better sense. You need to pick up a phone and give us a call, because this is an area that is super confusing. If it confuses me, and I've been doing this now in December, 27 years, that's a long time. What hope do I have if I was a fireman or a teacher or an engineer? I spent my career learning how to put rockets into space or teach algebra or put out fires or fight crime, right? Why am I going to figure out long-term care?
Jim, you mentioned it earlier in the show. There's the pain of change. There's the pain of regret. And certainly when it comes to regret, this is one of those topics you don't want to look back on and say, man, this is something I really should have thought of when I was in my 40s or my 50s. Yeah. You don't want to try to play catch up. And that's why you need to pick up that phone. Call Jim Fox and his team at Wadadley Financial Group online, getfst.com. All right, Jim, I want to shift gears with you here because I was looking at this story a couple of days ago, and I've really found this interesting. And it was bringing up the fact of how many Americans have saved $1 million for retirement. We always hear that 1 million, million and a half, that's the number you're trying to target. Well, according to a new study by the Employee Benefit Research Institute, here's the breakdown. And these numbers, probably a little bit alarming. 78% of folks they spoke to have saved $100,000 or less. Now, another 14 have saved between $100,000 and $500,000. But Jim Fox, just 4% have saved that $1 million magic number. So we hear all the time these stories. It's $1 million, it's $1.8 million to retire. The question I have for you is, are those numbers in that study, is that a wake-up call for folks? Or is that a kind of a kick in the gut to that 96% who haven't saved $1+ million?
So here's what I've learned is that these studies, these articles, these talking points that people shove out at seminars or they on the air, it's utter ridiculousness, to be honest with you. Because here's the thing. Yes. Do some people need $1 million? Absolutely. I see it all the time. Do some people need $4 million? I do. You know, some people, Kevin, only need $38,000. Think about that. The problem is that we sit here and we have these basic statistics that, although they may be true, they don't apply to you, Johnny, or you, Mary, or you, Todd. Because it's not your story.
Right.
See, I have so many cases where listeners from this radio show have called in and then came into this office. And one of them that just rings in my head so clearly was that he was laid off from one of the defense contractors. And he was so just bummed because he had that $1 million number set in his head. I got to get to $1 million. But they laid him off and he was only at 800,000. And he came into the office and he's like, Jim, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I'm too old to go back to work, but I didn't get to my $1 million number. And I'm not sure what I need to do. And I said, well, first thing we need is we need to figure out, do you really need $1 million? He said, no, everyone said I need $1 million. Well, I sat down and we did all the work between his pension, his Social Security. They live a very frugal life, which is a huge benefit to them. They could accomplish the exact same thing with like $310,000.
Wow.
So did he need $1 million? No. Society had programmed it that he needed the $1 million. And he believed he needed the $1 million. But he never took the time to actually figure out within the plan, what does he really need? And Kevin, that is true time and time again. There are people, because I can't just say the good side of these stories, right? I have people that come through the door and they're like, hey, you know, Jim, I'm ready to retire. I want to buy that RV. I want to buy that sports car. I want to buy a motorcycle. It's going to be awesome. And I sit down with them and they've got a couple, credit card loans. They still got a mortgage. They've saved $400,000. They want a $300,000 motorhome. The math doesn't work. The math isn't mathing. And I've got to sit back and say, whoa, hold on. We've got to look at this objectively. See, that is what is so unique about what we do. See, so many people in this industry, when I say so many people in this industry, let me just take that back. People like I was when I worked for the largest financial firm on the planet treated clients that came through the door as blocks of numbers.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin has $310,000. Let's put him into the system. Kevin has $80,000. Put him into the system. Kevin has $1 million. Put him into the system. But there was never, what does Kevin need to do with his money? And what is the probability that we are going to accomplish the goals that we are shooting for with what we're doing today? See, that is what's missing across the board here. I see people day in, day out that come to this office or come to a workshop and they tell me, I've got this, I've got that, I've got a 401k, I've got my stock account, I got some crypto, I bought this annuity, I've set. Great. How does that work in your plan? What do you mean? I've got all this stuff. Well, if I go to my table and I lay out tomatoes and garlic and flour and eggs and, some ground beef, some ground lamb, maybe throw some basil on the table and I spread it all, that is not spaghetti on my table. Right. Those are ingredients to spaghetti. And if I don't know how to put it together right, there's a good chance I'm not going to make spaghetti. I'm going to make a mess. See, that is a plan. A plan is not ingredients. A plan is taking the ingredients that you have and making what you want to eat out of it. I know it sounds like a really super simplistic approach to retirement planning, but that's what we do. So many people come through the door with so much stuff that they think they've done it, but all they've done is added complexity to complexity, and they don't know what they're doing. What we do is simplify life. You know, how many times have you heard me, Kevin, what are we on, recording 7, 9? We're not that many in.
Yeah.
And I say it day in and day out. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. That is what we do, is build plans that make sense for you and your family. Listen, if you want a leather-bound, 800-page, super glossy report that you're never going to read, and I don't know how to read either, don't even come into this office. Don't even call us. But if you want to understand how finances work, if you want to understand how they apply to you and your family, not your neighbor across the street, and not the pastor down the road, and not the doctor or Slick Willie who lives down the street with his fancy cars. I don't care who it. You need to know about your family. If you want to have a plan that works for you and your family, and you understand the limitations, what can you do and what can't you do? I'm your guy. I'm not here to play games. I'm not here to promise you the world. I'm here to show you the math. And once we see the math, we can make better financial decisions. That's what we do every single day. That's why we call the show Financial Straight Talk. Wadadley is the name of our company. Wadadley is the Arawak Indian name for the island of Antigua. What it means is working together. That's what Wadadley means. I do not make financial decisions for you and your family. I work with you to help you make the right decisions. We work together. And if that resonates in you right now, and I hope it does, because you don't hear this on radio and you don't hear this on the air, and you surely don't hear this when you go to dinner seminars, I hope you pick up the phone and give us a call, because we do something different. And it's that financial straight talk. Pick up that phone, give us a call. My team is standing by right now to take your call. You come through this door, no one's going to sell you anything. Matter of fact, you can go through this door a couple times, no one's going to sell you anything, because we believe in building relationships, and we want to work with people who want to work with us. We don't want to try and convince people to work with us. We want to work with people who want to work with us.
GetFST.com. Jim, we got about a minute left in the show, and as we do each and every week, I will leave the floor to you for the final word here, sir.
Well, thanks so much, Kevin. Every week, guys, Kevin and I want to say thank you. We know that you have tons of options when it comes to getting financial information, and we're just honored to be one of those resources. So like you said, if there's anything we can do, don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, give us a call. We're here to help you. We'll answer those questions on air. We'll answer them via email, whatever we can do to help you out. But don't hesitate. Reach out and let us know. But on behalf of myself and Mr. Kevin Mack, I want to thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Financial Straight Talk.
Thanks for listening to Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox. To learn more, visit getfst.com.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Wadadley Financial Group. Wadadley Financial Group is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Wadadley Financial Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Wadadley Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any government agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Wadadley Financial Group.